I do it this way. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's not one of my usual nights that I come on. I'm usually on the first and the third of the Friday, but welcome to Basic Black After Dark. I am your host, Black Diamond, and I chose this night because it's a special night. It should be considered a national holiday, but it's not. So I got to talk to some people in Congress. It is my birthday, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But my grandchildren asked me today how old was I, and I just simply told them I'm old enough to be his grandmother, and that's all he needed to know. But I chose this night, and I wanted to spend it with someone that I've been knowing. Well, I guess I am telling my age for over 60 years. And this is one of the first people that I met. But when I mentioned that to her, she got a little smart and snippy with me by telling me that I wasn't the first person that she met. That her doctor was the first person that I met because doctors get you out and then they on the butt, and that person is my mom. And I wanted to spend my birthday with my mom. I didn't think that there would be anybody else that I wanted to spend my birthday with. We spent birthdays together. We've always been together, my mother and I. I can sit here and just give you stories about some of the things that we would talk about or things that we would do. But Mom, you're on, and you can say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And yes, it was my mother that, again, mentioned that I wasn't the first person that I met. It was the doctor that I met. But I'm going to ask you some questions.
Cool.
You, don't please don't say my age. Um, how does it feel to have your youngest be in their 60s? How does it feel? Can you believe it, or you don't feel anything?
I don't feel anything.
Well, that's good because I don't feel it. I don't feel like I'm in my 60s. So that's a good answer. Good
I
answer.
don't know your age, really.
Well, that's even better. So you won't tell anybody. But I am in my 60s, and I was talking to my brother, well, a couple of my brothers, and we were talking about our age. We was talking about comparing it to my aunt, to a few of my aunts, and we were saying we get around pretty good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We get around pretty good to be our age compared to the way we thought that our aunts would move around because we see ourselves bending over and getting things and going up the steps real quick and running and doing that. And I just didn't see any of my aunts and uncles doing that at our age. And sometimes when I'm out with my daughter, which it kind of bothers her, people say that's your sister, and I'm standing there looking at her, and she says, "No, that's my mother." And I said, "Well, you don't have to be all sore about it and choppy about it. I'm her mother. I'm not her sister." So we have a lot of good things. My brother just walked in here as well, and
Who
so
donuts?
this is going to be one of those impromptu days that we just talk about just
My
about anything
donut.
because I did want to share it with everybody here as well. These two are arguing over Dunkin' Donuts, and again, that's him peeping in. And he was one of the brothers that I had mentioned about us being the age that we are. And we were saying that we didn't look that out. We didn't look our age. At least we don't feel it. But this morning I felt it because I worked out yesterday in the gym and I felt every bit of it this morning. So I stayed in bed a little longer. But what I did get was a very, very nice surprise last night. It was kind of awkward because I was sitting in my family room and I saw firecrackers going up. I said, "What in the heck?" I said, "Is there a holiday or something? Why are firecrackers going up?" So my daughter was saying, "Yeah, you need to come out here and see this. This guy got these firecrackers going up." I said, "Why would he have firecrackers going up in October?" They had them going up for my birthday. And I felt so stupid because I'm just sitting there saying, was it a holiday? Not even thinking that it was my birthday. He was celebrating my birthday a day earlier. They were supposed to do it today, but the guy got the message wrong. They wanted to do it today, but they did it last night, which I'm glad they did it last night. It was really nice because I was going to be here tonight, so I would have missed it. Um, it's just been one of those years. For the most part, last year was a kind of big number for me. Oh, darn it, I'll tell you, I'm 61. Bottom line, I'm 61 years of age. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't. When I'm with my grandkids, I feel it. When I'm with my children, I don't feel it at all. So that's just the way that it goes sometimes. You just don't feel it. And I like the compliments that they give me. Ma, you don't look your age sometimes. It's a good feeling when somebody can tell you that you don't look your age, but your body is telling you something else, that it is every bit of 61 years. Especially when you start to stand up, you hear something cracking and then it's not peanuts. That's your knees. That's your knees cracking or your elbows cracking or something that's cracking. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or you just need to stretch. So I'm going to take it as that you just need to stretch. So that's basically it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't going to be a lot that I talk about tonight as far as my birthday. I am looking forward to my next guest that I'm going to have on the 27th. Um, that's Diana Hill. She has a brand new anthology out, and we'll be discussing her anthology. And we're going to be starting to wrap up the year with the rest of my guests. I haven't seen many of them in a while. Some of them have been on the show before, but they have new things going on. So I'm very interested in what they have going, and I always invite my guests to come back, especially if they have something that they want to share or something that they want to do. I've been working on other projects, different things that you may hear or see about. Oh, one of the things I am working on is another book. It's not going to be quite like the current one, The Habitual Liar, but it is the one that follows it. Cracks in the surface, strengths in the core, not easily broken. That was done with the panel that we had for 6 months. So I'm working on part two of Cracks in the Surface, Strengths in the Core. Now, some have asked me about The Habitual Lie, about book two. Well, I'm already working on book three. And people are asking, well, whatever happened to book two? I didn't scrap book two. Book two is not a book, it's a thing. And I'm not going to go into what it is, but I think that many people would be pleased. I know I'm pleased. I'm shocked that I even came up with this concept. I was even shocked when I ended the book on Habitual Lie. I was shocked at the way that I ended the book. And I'm still shocked every time I think about the end of the book. And one thing about me is that I write books, but I don't read my own books because I feel as though I either lived it or I know somebody that did. But most of my books, there's stories that I know a lot about. Thank you. Somebody else is wishing me happy birthday. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate it. Most of my books are books that I lived or either knew a lot about it. Oh, I thank you again, Cheryl. Um, the Habitual Liar. That book was hard. It took 5 years to write that book. Now, I'm not here to talk about the book, but I'm going to. It took 5 years to write that book because I had to go into therapy when I wrote that book. And I had to be careful. For one, because I wanted the readers to be able to understand the things that was happening to this particular character. And I didn't want to miss a beat or a step. And it was very important that they understood it page by page, chapter by chapter. The part that had me going into therapy was I had to go into this character to become this character in order for you to understand this character. So some of the things that I had to go through, like I said, it put me through therapy where it scared me, where I almost lost myself. Some things I didn't do because I just wasn't going to do them, but I had my character go through. So I think a lot of writers, when they write, they really get involved in the work that they do because they want to make sure that their readers are reading something of value. I don't think that they want to put anything out that's junk and just call themselves an author. I haven't ran across any of them at all. So I don't want to say that, oh, they're out there. They could be, but I have never ran across anybody or anybody's book that it appears as though that it was junk. I gotta put my glasses on. This is the old part, me putting my glasses on, so I can read what's being on there. Okay, it will be work. It'll be worth the wait. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope that it will be worth the wait. I'm excited about what is to come with the whole series because that's going to turn into a series. But I am so anxious to get the thing too out that I can't wait to get the feedback. I have some people who want to do a book club on the book already, and I'm excited about that. That will be my first book club, and I think that this may be their first book club. So it makes me very excited that they chose my book to start it. Um, I know they're going to ask the question about book two, and I'm going to have to tell them the same thing that it is not a book, it is a thing. Um, but they can definitely look forward to book three. I can't even tell them about book three because it will expose the thing too. But I could tell you more about cracks in the surface, strengths in the core. It is a workbook, and it does follow the first book, The Habitual Liar. And it's not a book that I took lightly when I started writing the workbook. The workbook dealt with a lot of mental health, and it's for people who are either going through it, know somebody that's going through it, or just wanted to check themselves. It doesn't mean that you have to have a mental health problem. Many who, or some who started that journey for that 6 months, I know they didn't want to do the book because it seemed like it was homework. But after a while, they got involved with it and they seemed to have really wanted to be there. They really wanted to do the work in the book. And I even did the work in the book. I told them, you're not going to be alone in this. And there were some things that I found out about myself, even though I wrote it, but to have to answer the questions and do the exercises in the book, I found out some things about myself that was really surprising. And I said, I have to follow through with it because if I don't follow through with it, why would I expect you to follow through with it? So, book two, cracks in the surface, strengths in the core, own your shift, SHIFT, is going to be coming out soon. And we are looking for individuals who want to be a part of that panel. It's very interesting. It is once a month. It is the third Friday of the month. If you are interested, please DM me and just let me know that you're interested in being a part of the panel. I will take you through it prior to so you would know what to expect. You are to get the book. You can purchase book one and two if you want to, if you feel as though that book one will help you. It is on my website, basicblaque.com. Basic is spelled basic, BASIC. Blaque is my name, BLAQUE.com. You'll find both books on that website, along with other things that I have that are going on the website. So I thank you so much. Yes, I just would love to share. I would love for you to even look at some of the old reels if you haven't seen it to see what it was about. And you'll find that it was some interesting things that we discussed on there. And one of the things that I'm very proud of that we had included with that panel was to have Dr. Carolyn Stevens, who is a licensed clinical Christian therapist. She was there in the event that someone felt as though they needed to come out of the panel and have a conversation with her. They would go into a breakout room and they would be able to talk to her. Or if we had any listeners or viewers where somebody said something and it touched them in a way that they needed someone to talk to right away, she was there and she could have spoken to them privately where her number would have been given and they could have called her. And if they needed continued therapy or continued to speak with her, they can. For me, I am not a licensed anything, but I am a certified trauma informed parent coach. So I can do the trauma and I can do the parent coaching. But if you feel as though you really need a psychiatrist or a therapist, then I would recommend that you speak to Dr. Carolyn. If she sends you back to me, is that mostly because you've done the work. You did what you needed to do. And for me, it's just the backup, just to continue to keep you on track of what you need to do. And it has worked out that way. So we're really happy with the panel and with what we're doing. We're going to be shooting a commercial soon for the panel, so you can know more about that work. Um, I do have a business called the Renaissance coach, which I consider myself the Renaissance coach. And I say Renaissance coach because Renaissance is different. And I think that the way that I do coaching is a little different than maybe the way that we were taught, but it still follows the guidelines of what we were taught to do as what they consider a life coach. But I studied trauma, and I'm more of a trauma coach than I am just of a life coach. I can talk to other people about life because sometimes their life can end up in trauma, or they could be traumatized. Maybe they were traumatized as a child and didn't realize it, and now they're coming to terms with things that they never addressed as a child. I can work with you with that. I can work with you with that. If you feel as though that that's something that you want to do, you can DM me for that as well. Like I said, I have a lot of different things that are going on. If you follow me, you'll be seeing a lot of new things that's going to be popping up on Facebook. Patrice put something out there tonight, that I hadn't wanted to share. She didn't share it with you, and I'm grateful for that. But she shared it, and my mom was here, and I'm going to get Patrice for that, for sharing that little bit of something. And when we have to do thing two, Patrice is not going to be told about thing two yet, so that's how I'm gonna pay her back. So, so that's just the eye for eye, Patrice. But you know I love you, for everything that you do, as well as the cast, with the Crew podcast. There's some phenomenal women. If you are someone who's interested in becoming a podcaster, speak to Angela Thomas Smith, or you can speak to one of us to get some ideas to see how do you become a podcaster. I think that what we do does touch a lot of hearts with the stories that people that come on our show tell. We do have some authors who discuss their books. We do have individuals who discuss life happenings, things that's going on in the world. Me, myself, and I'm going to speak for me, only me. I stay away from politics and I stay away from religion because that could be a very sensitive thing for people, and that's a person's view. So I will not ever knock anybody's view when it comes to politics or when it comes to their view on religion. So I try to stay away from that. So if there's anything else that anybody have a story they want to talk about, how they overcame things, you can come on to my show. I would definitely love to have you and to speak about it. If you have something that you're working on, a charity or something, and you want to do a fundraiser and you want my show to help out with it, that's fine. I will do that. I am starting to look for content for 2026. It does book up quickly. Like I said, we're going to have the panel that's going to be for 6 weeks. We might throw another panel, part two, within next year. So I would suggest, if you're interested, to book now because it's going to go quick. Spaces are going to go quick. So that's probably just about all I'm going to say for tonight. I see some people who chimed in on the side. Let me get rid of this little thing. Yeah, you have to forgive